Well, I'm towards the North County. I was thinking today about something that happened in band in high school. I thought maybe I'll say it out loud instead of in my head and see what happens. So I'm gonna try to see if I feel the same way about it out loud as I did in my head. This isn't very easy to do. In high school, I'm comparing how I'm talking now to how I said it in my head. So maybe I'll try not to do that and just try to tell it anyway. So I'll try to erase my memory of what I was saying in my head and say it a different way out loud. Okay. This is hard to do. In high school, in band, we were playing in the concert band. In high school, we were playing a song. I was playing my trombone, as usual, with the rest of the trombonists. And I had been placed in the second to the last seat in that case. My seating arrangement varied depending on how I was playing. The quality of my playing determined which seat I was placed in. And in that case, I was second to the last. And the instructor had moved me down to second to the last, and it was embarrassing because it felt like the lower my seat was, the worse of a player I was. Maybe it just felt that way. Maybe it just meant I was playing more deeply at the time. Because the higher seats meant I was playing at a higher pitch. But it felt like punishment. So I was totally embarrassed because my best friend in the trombone section was at that point higher up. Well, he always was, though. He was always higher than me because he could always play higher notes than me. But does that mean he was really better than me? Well, I always thought it did, and it was always kind of embarrassing not to be able to play the higher notes. But at that point, it was even worse because I was farther down the seating than him. Usually, I was right next to him. But in that case, I'd been moved into, there were like 3 parts to the row of trombones. The lowest, the middle, and the highest. So I had jumped from middle all the way down to the lowest. And that was really embarrassing to me anyway. So we were playing, anyway, I was still in the band, so we were playing a song, and the very, right before, the very end of the song, I could tell that the instructor was about ready to be like the most proud band director on planet Earth because it was going to be a perfect song. We had not made one mistake throughout the whole song, and it was like going to be heaven for him. And I was immediately, in that split second, worried that I was going to have to live up to that much perfection in life for the rest of my life. So, at the very end of the song, right when I saw the instructor, then proud of himself, I played the wrong note on purpose. on purpose. And the instructor immediately at the end of the song right then said, "Who did that?" And immediately I raised my hand and admitted it. I did it. I said, because I wasn't down to live to hiding that much guilt for the rest of my life. I was totally embarrassed, but it was the best option I could think of. And I made him punish me. I made him ask me for a dime for coffees to pay for the sheet music for being in the lowest section, because I didn't have the music for that. I was sharing it with the other one next to me. So I told him I needed coffees of that and asked him how much he was going to charge me. He said a dime. So I gave him a dime for the coffees of the sheet music. I think it was on that very song, maybe. I don't remember though. And I started to wonder later on in life, many, many years later, recently even, whether or not what he was really doing is was recording us and not telling us and not paying us. So I might have prevented that kind of fraudulent activities from happening. Is he recording even right now? I detect a lot of sunken activity and don't know what the management going on is all about. It feels like there are Sankings managing me or trying to, and they sound like the worst managers on planet Earth, yelling at me songingly. And like they're wondering what's the difference between them being right there and being anonymous and remote. Like that's the same thing? They think it's the same thing. No, it's not really the same thing, and they don't really understand why it isn't or how it isn't. Well, and the state competition, I was playing the trombone again in another piece, in another concert van, in which people throughout the state of Kentucky who had won a spot through an audition in the state competition got together and practiced several concert pieces together as a band, as a concert band together for a performance, for an audience. And we were practicing together in a rather stuffy practice room. It was pretty small and the ceiling was low. Now the ceiling and the room in the high school was a lot better. It had risers, it had a high ceiling. That room had no risers and a very low ceiling. It was like a stuffy office, and it was lit by fluorescent lights in the ceiling. And there was a long, long pause in that song. For the trombonist, anyway. I was bored to death in the middle of it. And in the course of that pause, I was wondering why all I was doing is watching and listening to what the other trombonists were doing. Or not really watching, just paying attention. I didn't even know how to play it. I was just paying attention to what they were doing, and I thought, what is so great about that? Right in the middle of that really long pause. So I played a note. I played a note, and at the end of that particular piece of rehearsal, right at the end of that, the director looked right at me and said something. I don't know what he said. And then there I was in the very next rehearsal, or the very next song, I don't remember which, in the second to last seat of the row of trombonists. That's when I knew it meant I was bad. It didn't really mean anything but that. And lo and behold, the trombonist right next to me in the very last seat was my best friend from the same group of trombonists in high school. I had not even known he was there. And there he was again. And I told him I was totally embarrassed. And he said, how do you think I feel? So that's when I knew he was going to do the same thing I was until all that. And so we were sitting there waiting to play again. Anyway, of course, we were there to play. And the music stand was not really all there up to snuff. And our sheet music we were sharing fell off the stand, and I grabbed it right away before it fell to the floor. And lo and behold, one more time again, the guy called me an FAG. Now, he didn't say it in 3 letters. He said it. I don't want to say it. It sounds like a bad word. He said, fag. And that turned it on to the worst experience of my life. One more time again, he called me a fag. I was totally embarrassed. Because what he was saying is, why do you care enough to keep the sheet music from falling? Why don't you just learn the music fall and make somebody else pick it up forward? Well, I think I had bigger arms than him. I think that's really what his concern was. Because one time, one of my other best friends, who was in the drum section in high school, told me to stop carrying so many books to and from school and around the school, from class to class. And what he meant was, quit making your arms so much bigger than that. Well, whatever, I kept doing it anyway. You're supposed to have big arms anyway. So that's kind of the way I said it in my head, in a way. Maybe I said it better this way anyway. I'm glad I have big arms. So I think carrying a whole bunch of books around with me wasn't really all that bad to do. I might have been a bookworm, but at least I got big arms out of it. But I don't have a job, and I don't have any money. Because I wasn't singing and playing the piano, I was playing a trombone. But on the very first day of selecting an instrument in grade school, I could play the trombone. I played a note right away, and the instructor said, you want to play the trombone? You want to play there? And I said, yeah, right away. I didn't know what was going on or anything. So I was stuck playing the trombone until the end of high school. Oh boy, that was the greatest day in my life. Never to have to play the trombone again was so wonderful. Oh, that was so nice. It was like getting out of jail. Suddenly, I was never going to have to play that sick instrument ever again. What a day that was. Graduation day. No more trombone. Oh, that was so nice. It was murder. It was murder on the song to play the trombone. I was developing. Well, maybe that was good for me to develop. But I don't have a job and I don't have any money. Oh well. It's over. That's the important thing. And I have a carrot. I have a carrot. That's the important thing too. Yes. Baby's over there. I know she is. Yes, she's over there. Yeah, she's there. Of course she is. And she loves me. Of course she does. And everything. Yes, I have a fluffer-muffer. She's Baby the fluffer-muffer. Yes, she is. Yes. She's there and everything. I found a fluffer-muffer. Yes. Yeah, she's over there. She's easy to take care of, too. I love taking care of her. I just feed her whenever she's hungry, which is just like all the time anyway, and I just keep her litter box clean. I just scoop out the excrement once a day and leave the rest of the litter in the box. It's easy. There's nothing else I have to do. And then I just pet her when she wants to be petted and just notice her and love her and everything. I just talk to her like she's a person and she understands. They know the English language amazingly. I never knew they did before, but they really do. I'm learning a whole lot more about kids, having my own, than I ever did sharing one with the rest of the family at home. They're really smart. They know what you're saying. You don't have to train them. They understand and everything. But I don't have a job. I don't have any money. But at least I have a car and a place to stay. Just because there's psychic noise going on doesn't mean you don't have a place to stay. You do. If you're not sold into thinking you don't, you do have a place. If you can knock on the wood, you have a place. You have a place to stay if you're right there in it. If you're smart enough to realize that, you do. It says in the documents about eviction. You don't have to leave if you've been evicted. And if somebody's evicted me with psychic noise, I don't have to leave. Unless and until a person of authority escorts me away from the premises, then I can stay here. So I'm going to stay here no matter what unless I'm physically relocated in a real obvious way, not some kind of psychic way. The psychic noise might hurt my ears, but it doesn't mean anything. Not a thing. It's just noise. not and until, I said that wrong, unless or until. And until means it's really going to happen. No, it is not really going to happen. Unless or until, not and until. Be careful about your terminology. It could something too much, you're saying it the wrong way. Unless or until. It's not really going to happen. Or until, not and until. I said that wrong. Shame on me. No, it is not going to happen. It is not really going to happen just because it can happen. Unless or until. I meant or, not and. I didn't mean and. I meant or. Unless or until. There, I corrected myself. I better have corrected myself. Because it's really cozy here and everything. Especially with my care. I love my care and everything. No, I'm not leaving or anything. I wonder if my smoothie is warm enough now. You have to chill it. I mean, like, if it were product for sale, you have to chill it. Like if I were trying to mass produce it in a huge business. Because it actually does make me lose that. And maybe wait until I have injected. And I injected it. I mixed together several key food supplements. I researched the NIH information. It was easy. All I did was look for information about food supplements and obesity. And so anytime the National Institute of Health said that the food supplement solves the problem of obesity in some form or fashion, whether in animals such as rats or people alone, then I looked for the retail commercial form available to general consumers, and then if I could buy it affordably and easily, then I added it into my repertoire of food supplements. And I actually successfully raised my vitamin D deficiency to normal with just a regular vitamin D food supplement that anybody can buy. Is just a commercial product available to anyone. But what I did was, I did something different that most people wouldn't understand. I started to take a heavy dose of it because I read an article that said the only way to raise reduced vitamin D levels is to take mega doses of vitamin D. So I'm still taking a super high dose of it because it says on the label you're only supposed to take one of the capsules every 3 days or something like that. Well, what I do is take 2 of them every single day. And it worked. And I'm still doing it because I know if I reduce the dosage down, it's just not going to work anymore because it's just, food. It isn't going to solve any kind of anatomical problems or weaknesses. It's just going to resolve the problem in a temporary kind of way, but it can be long-term as long as I commit to it. There are 2 other food supplements that I take separately because the company that I found the all-natural food supplements doesn't have every single supplement available. But I found powdered supplements at a company that sells mostly completely all natural supplements, all pure, nothing else added to them. So I mixed them all together, and it wasn't very easy to do. They're in a huge canister that I got from a pen supplying company, a local one, and stirring it up. At first, it was really hard to figure out how to do. I was rolling it along the floor, and then I figured it out. All I had to do was just take some out, and then use my hand, as long as I washed it first. Because one time, I rolled the canister along the floor with my hands, bare hands, and then inadvertently I reached in and stirred it up. And that's a dirty floor, especially with a can. But it was just one time, and I'm drinking it anyway. I haven't gotten sick yet, so I suppose after 2 days already of not getting sick, I guess there isn't anything there in it. But it's all mixed together perfectly well, and I'm trying to flavor it better. Oh, the flavor has been terrible, and I'm trying to get it down. It's not very easy. This time, I added a different spice. I'm not telling. It's a secret. Because it could be so, I suppose, since it burns. It really burns. And it is like a meal in and of itself, because it has all my bread ingredients in it. So I don't think I'll necessarily have to make any more loaves if I drink it once a day, as I have been. So I think I might have warmed it up. I had to chill it after I mix it up in the food processor, because it has cacao in it. Now that part I can tell, I think. And cacao you can't eat unless you chill it. If you eat it in anything, because it has to, well, I'm just saying it has to, because this is the way I make it. I warm it up in the food processor. In other words, I mix it in enough time to warm it up, because it also has, I'm afraid to tell the ingredients, because how am I going to sell it if I reveal the formula? Well, it has something in it that is supposed to be dissolved in warm water. So I mix it up until the friction of stirring it around warms it up. But at that point, the cacao, I can tell that time, I think, is terrible. So then I put it in the fridge to chill it down. And then it's too cold to drink, because then it gives me a headbanger from the chill of it all. So then I warm it up again. But at that point, the cacao is all right, warmed up again. At room temperature, that is. Not really all the way to hot or warm, lukewarm. Not even lukewarm, just room temperature. It's all right. But I still feel a little bit of coldness, but a little bit might be all right. So I'll stir it up. I'm going to see if I flavored it. I probably didn't flavor it right yet. Oh, it's a little thin. I don't really want it very thin, if at all. But it might not be too thick, because you have to, well, I just say that because it's the way it is. You have to use a straw. Because if you don't, according to the internet, since it has apple cider vinegar in it, I think I can tell that too. But you add that separately. I'm just saying it that way. You add that separately because you can't really leave liquids in the mixture, or else the mixture will just spoil. Because the liquids would, mess up the shelf line. So you add the vinegar centrally to the dry mixture, plus water. But since there's a lot, well, relatively a lot, considering drinking it straight would be impossible, you have to use a straw to drink it all, because otherwise it can, the word is erode. It can erode your teeth in there if you drink it straight, like lifting the cup or container. So I have some silicone straws. I got some of these at the store. I read on the internet that other kinds of straws are bad for the environment. So I'm going the kind you don't have to throw away. You can just reuse and wash before use again. That is, this is what I washed or scrubbed the inside with. This comes along with it. Well, I'll try it now and see what happens. Oh, that is not a good flavor. No, I didn't do it. I didn't get the flavor right. No. There. Oh, it tastes like vomit. It is terrible. I didn't get it right. I've got to still learn on the spices. Oh, that is the worst flavor. I was putting coffee in it, but the internet says that coffee isn't really very good for you. So I don't really want to mess it up. But another article on the internet said that if you combine certain things with coffee, you lose fat. But it just doesn't seem to be a good way to do it if coffee isn't really all that good for you. Except there I was drinking it straight anyway. Well, if I'm just going to do that anyway, maybe I should just add the coffee. But maybe it's better to drink it centrally. I don't know. I found the fair trade kind. It's all natural, and it's organic, and it has no caffeine in it. And it tastes great, but is it really very good? It isn't. According to the internet articles, it doesn't do anything for the thought. In fact, it might even be bad. But if I don't add it to the smoothie, I just drink it straight anyway because why? I don't know why. It's just relaxing or something. I need that flavor. What if I didn't have it? Wouldn't I buy it anyway? Why do people need coffee? Well, there has to be good and bad. It's the other side of the equation, maybe. The bad side. Like yin and yang or something. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, that is terrible. I didn't add my Italian spices to it. Maybe I should go back and add those again, but still, it wasn't good. Maybe it needs more or something. I think the thickness is all right. It isn't too thin to sunk through the straw. I think this does have to be a plan. I think I am in a plan of fat loss. When I go over all the events, it seems to me that certainly is what's going on. There does seem to be a huge commitment in my mind to discovering fat loss. I don't know why or anything, but it's just the way it is, I guess. It looks like those Slim Fast drinks, that it probably doesn't taste nearly as good as those. But what aren't those? I don't think those really work. I think they're just desserts disguised as remedies. I'm amazed I can drink it considering how bad it tastes. what I just thought of. I can't believe what I just thought of. So, that same best friend who sat next to me in the trombone section, he just started on the end of the bed at the same hotel room where we took a vacation at Myrtle Beach, North Carolina, or South Carolina, together. And he shows himself to be huge now. Oh, wait. A stupid, retarded, ugly way. And there he says, if we were best friends, are we still best friends now? Joking about his new Chandler appearance. Assume Darren's always made with friends because he looked good. I didn't even know what he looked like in a way. I wasn't friends with him because of his appearance. He used to joke people onto being shared. He used to learn about certain people and certain people even. Yes, I remember he used to make fun of certain people right to their faces. I was so embarrassed because I thought that was really mean. And now, that's what he is now. Well, now he doesn't care. But why doesn't he care now? So is he being punished now? Because I saw a picture that said that was him on the internet. And he looked fat and retarded beyond believing. I thought, how is that the same person? He didn't look retarded or short. He looked really handsome. So is he being punished for making fun of certain people in high school or something? He said he was going into optometry, and I think it might have said he was an optometrist. And I guess an optometrist would look like that. But he wanted a lot of money, they said. I mean, so much that he would just be like filthy rich. That's what he said. They were going to be filthy, stinking rich. And he was going to learn the least number of hours he could possibly learn, going all the way into optometry nerd. Oh, low imperative. It's saying low imperative. I'm supposed to plug it in there. So I'm going to reach the cord over to the chainsaw now that it's on. A chainsaw and tripod. Real convenient. So that's more convenient? No, it isn't. Well, then I'll turn it off now.